Welcome to the Enjoy Life podcast. This podcast is about choosing your mindset, goals, and actions so that you can guide your life to go in the direction that you want it to go. I believe that we all make choices in our lives, and those choices are what's going to shape our lives. And you have the power to choose to take steps to make your life more how you want it to be. Now, it is a little bit of work, but the work's worth it because it's your life and you get to reap the benefits of it. In this podcast, I'm going to share with you actionable information, things that I've learned just through my own experience, life, a little bit of formal education, and some experience working with people to make changes in their lives. Everything I do share with you are things that I try to do in my own life because it wouldn't be right for me to share with you things for you to do that I'm not willing to do myself, or at least try to do. If you're willing to take steps so that your life can be more how you want it to be and enjoy it too, then you're in the right place. I'm glad that you're here, and let's get started. Hello there, I'm Nick. Welcome to the Enjoy Life podcast. Just a quick reminder before we dive into today's episode is that you can, if you're interested in pursuing your goals or getting a little bit of clarity on the areas of life that are important to you, so that you can put forth the effort to make the changes you want. I'm putting together some material right now, still working on it, trying to get it out soon. That'll help you with that. It'll help you to figure out exactly where you want to put forth your effort, and, set some solid goals, some targets, some life targets that will pull you toward them, to help you be persistent and really put forth the effort. If you're interested in that, or just to get updates to find out when that comes out, just go to nickmazey.com/goals course. And that way I can let you know when it's coming out. Okay, on to today's episode. That's what you're here for, right? All right. Today, we're talking about knowing what you get out. We're talking about knowing what you're going to get out of a situation or out of yourself. So you don't need a crystal ball to really see what's going to happen. At least in this situation, you don't. I don't have the lottery numbers for you or anything like that. But what I'm saying is you don't need to guess what's your mindset and your actions, or even what the outcome is going to be if you know what you put in. There's a simple way to find out what you're going to get out of yourself. What kind of effort you're going to put forth into a situation. How you're going to pursue your goals. The mindset that you have, or if you're enjoying life. There's a simple way to know, or at least to be able to see a pretty good idea of what that's going to be like. It's by knowing what you put in. If you want to know how a situation is going to turn out, look at what you put into it. If you want to know, hey, am I going to achieve my goals? Ask yourself what you're putting into it. If you want to know what your mindset's going to be like, well, this is a big one. If you want to know what your mindset's going to be like, look at what you put into your mind. So what we put into ourselves, our mind, or even the effort that we put into a situation, it has a profound impact. If you want to know exactly how good and amazing your life can be, then start looking at what you put into it. See, it's 100% up to you. And I know people don't want to hear this or don't like it. You might not agree with it too. That's fine. That's okay. By all means. At the same time, in our electrical. When I was doing electrical work, we used to have this saying, and I'm not going to use the exact words because, I try to keep this clean and not explicit. But my boss would say something along the lines of, trying to get chicken salad out of chicken poop or stuff. Well, and sometimes you got to do that at work. You're trying to make the best of a situation. You don't have all the right material or resources. I get that. But thinking about that saying, a lot of times we can't get something better out of a situation than what we put into it. Back in electrical work, we may have not had the right resources or all the material or all this stuff, but we did the very best what we could, and we had to put forth more effort, and make up for what was lacking by doing more. What you get out of yourself, is 100% up to you. It's what you're going to put into it. Nobody's making you put negative stuff into your mind, or nobody's making you put negative stuff, into your life and the situation. Is there somebody sitting there making you scroll through negative social media posts and read and dive into all the negative muck out there? I bet nobody's forcing you to just reread negative headlines constantly. Well, no one's forcing you, but no, social media and the news outlets and all that stuff, they are very good about at grabbing our attention. And negative stuff sells. It's the attention-grabbing negative things that grab our attention, that sell, that get us to stay focused on that. And the more we focus on the negative, the more that things seem negative. It's tough to enjoy life when you're focused on the negative stuff, the negative news, the negative social media posts, the things that make you feel like you're getting left out or that your life's not as good. It's easy to focus on those things because they are attention grabbing. At the same time, it's 100% up to you. If you want to enjoy life, don't focus on the negative. If you're anything like me, or I think a lot of people, and then you might feel like, you'll be left out of the loop by not being, up to date on the headlines or seeing what's going on. And this is something that I experienced. I have a poll to find out what's going on either social media or the news. At the same time, I know this to be true. Choosing to limit the amount of negative material that I consume will not really leave me out of the loop on any important information that's going on. It won't. I might feel like that in the moment, but when I limit the amount of negative stuff that I put into my mind and my body, I'm better off. It's a simple fact. I'm better off. And sometimes choosing to limit the negative, it's a little bit difficult. But there's another alternative, or not alternative, there's another side to it, in that we can choose to add the positive. If we're talking about mindset here and the amount of negative stuff that goes into our mind and our brain and the material that we consume. Did you know that there's actually positive news out there? There is. Positive news, it doesn't sell. It's one of those things that it's not as attention grabbing. The news media and outlets and even social media, it's not going to have this huge, response with shares and likes and all that stuff. It gets a little bit, obviously. But the whole thing is that it doesn't come natural for that attention grabbing power that they want. But at the same time, it's out there. And there's a place I found that's called the Good News Network, goodnewsnetwork.org. And there are a ton of positive, impactful news stories on that site. That's some good information. And it just goes to show that we can choose to add positive things into our mindsets. We can choose to add positive and it doesn't all have to be negative. Because the more of one kind of material that we consume and put into us, the more likely we're going to think in that way. The more likely we're going to act in a way that's similar to the stuff that we're putting into our mind. And that's kind of like a domino effect. What you put in to your mind impacts your mindset. What you put into your brain impacts how you think. How you think ends up impacting what you do. And if you want to get the best out of life, then you got to put good effort, an intentional direction and effort and persistence into your life to guide it in the direction that you want it to go. And a great way to do that is to start with what you put into your mind. Because what you put in is going to impact what you get out. What you put into your mind is going to impact what you get out of your mind. What you put into your body is going to impact what you get out of your body. What you put into your life is going to impact what you get out of your life. It's your choice. It is up to you. And you don't have to put your head in the sand and ignore everything that's going on and be ignorant, pretend that the world is just a perfect little place. You don't have to do that in order to be able to cut out some of the negative and add more of the positive. You don't. There's plenty of both in the world. There's plenty of positive. There's plenty of negative. You can stay up to date with what you need to know and what's going on and still not let it consume your mindset and steal your happiness and enjoyment. All that to say, will you choose to limit some of the negative stuff you put into your mind? Just limit it just a little bit and intentionally add a little bit of positive, a little bit of focus on what is good. Add that into your mind. Just a little bit of a shift can have a profound impact. It might improve your mindset just a little bit. And that improved mindset, that, hey, life's pretty good. I can do this. A little bit of positivity, a little bit of that self-talk, a little self-encouragement. That might help you to put forth a little bit more effort so that your life can be a little bit more how you want it to be. And a little bit better life, I think that is a great thing. Because this is your life. And it depends on what you do for it to be how you want it to be. All right. Well, that is today's episode of the Enjoy Life podcast. Thank you for listening. Thank you for listening all the way through. And if you are interested in taking some steps to pursue set some goals, pursue them, go to the nickmazey.com/goals course. These goals, I'm calling them life targets, and I'll go a little bit more into that when some material comes out. But having that target that you want to pursue and zero in on and focus on, that's a huge thing. If you have some good goals, some good targets for your life that you want to achieve, make sure that you're putting good things into your body, your mind, so that you can be the best that you can be and pursue them with all that you got. Thanks again for listening. Take care. I'll talk to you again soon.